Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Rapidi's webinar, where we'll be diving into the world of business synergy and exploring the powerful integration of Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics 365. I am Serene, a sales consultant here at Rapidi, and I'm excited to be your host for today. Here with me, my esteemed colleague Andrea, a data integration consultant. So, Andrea will be guiding you through the essential aspects of data integration and Rapidi innovative solutions. So let's take a quick look at what we'll be covering in today's webinar. We will start with an introduction to Rapidi. Then we will go with the importance of integration. We will discuss Rapidi integration solutions. We will explain some of our customer testimonials. We will also explain how you can get started with us. And in the end, we'll go through a Q&A session where we can address all of your questions. So at Rapidi, we have over 30 years of expertise in data integration. Our journey as data integration expert started back in the days when Microsoft was still called Navision and consisted of a small group of people, which our founder Michael Balk was part of. And Michael still plays an active role in Rapidi today. At Rapidi, we specialize in data integration solutions for two of the major players in the tech world. From one side, Salesforce, and Microsoft from the other side. But our expertise doesn't stop here. We seamlessly integrate with a variety of other solutions to meet your unique business needs. So, what sets us apart is our use of cutting-edge cloud technology. Our solutions are not just flexible and robust, but they are also powered by the latest innovations in the cloud. The best part, no programming required, and Andrea will explain a little bit better. So we're really proud to share that our customers consistently evaluate us with a 4 to 5 star App Exchange rating. And I would say that this speaks volumes about the trust and satisfactions our clients experience with our solutions. At Rapidi, we believe in going the extra mile for our customers. We provide outstanding support to ensure a smooth integration process, and we offer flexibility that adapts to your specific needs. So we do have great customer references that showcase our dedication to delivering efficient solutions that make a difference for businesses like yours. So if you're looking for a flexible, simple, and robust data integration solution, Rapidi is the solution for you. And now that I've told you about the incredible journey and capabilities of Rapidi, I'm excited to hand over the virtual stage to my colleague Andrea. Andrea will delve deeper into the importance of integration and how Rapidi's solution plays a pivotal role in ensuring seamless and efficient data integration. So let's welcome Andrea to share her insights with you. Andrea, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I will go through the following sections. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please use the chat that you have on the right. Add them there, and then towards the end of the presentation, we will be able to go through them. Now, the first section is about the importance of integration. So we all want the integration to be simple, right? So at Rapidi, our focus is to simplify this process. We don't want to make it overcomplicated. We don't want to make things harder for you and the company that you work for. That being said, why do we need, or why do companies need to integrate? Here we have 4 buckets. And first, we have collaboration. The first one, which is really important, is that through an integration, you activate existing data, right? And this means that you get your own 360-degree customer overview. And once you have these two, you are able to enable internal teams to collaborate more. The second bucket would be efficiency, which of course is something that all companies want, right? We all want to be more efficient on a daily basis. First, you don't have double data entries, right? Once you have an integration in place, you don't have to worry about that. which means that you don't have to switch between systems. You don't have to go into one system, create a record, and then do the same thing in the other system. And this means that you eliminate rework and you get process automation. This part is really important because all companies want to avoid any type of double data entries. They want to avoid rework and all kind of bad data, right, that you can end up having in your own system. And of course, you want your end users to focus on more important tasks. You don't want them to always go into the systems and try to create the records that are needed, create accounts, create invoices, and then do the same thing over and over again. Through an integration, you get process automation, which means that everything will be synced from one system to another. The third bucket would be quality. So this means that you get consistent data, right? When you have an integration in place, then you are able to have consistent data across the board. And this means that you will have data that you can trust. And this will actually lead to better reporting. And if you have all the above, then you have increased user adoption. It's very important to have good data. Because then you are able to report on everything that's happening in the company. If you don't have good data, then you will struggle with that. You will try to understand, is my data good enough for reporting purposes? Is this data actually showing me the current situation? So it's very hard to deal with bad data and with manual processes. The last bucket would be growth. Of course, once you have an integration in place, you will have better decision support. This will lead to increased customer satisfaction. And of course, the last one would be selling more and selling faster, which is, of course, something that's extremely important for all companies in the world. And why is integration important? Apart from what I just explained, it also streamlines your business processes. It gives you real-time data synchronization. It improves your decision-making, your productivity, and then it reduces or even eliminates any kind of manual processes, communication gaps, errors, everything that has to do with manual processes. So you have your business processes which can be automated. So then there's no human intervention there. And then you have real-time synchronization. So you have your data in your ERP and you want to send that over to your CRM. So both systems will talk to each other and this synchronization will happen instantly. So imagine that you don't have to ask the users to do all that work. And of course, it improves productivity because everyone else can focus on other tasks. And this means that they can do other things while the systems are doing all the work. And the benefit of that is that you don't have manual processes in place, which sometimes can become a burden. The main point is that you want to integrate to elevate. So you want to make sure that the systems that you are using, they talk to each other, they are able to communicate, and this means that you amplify your success. So you are able to have your data in both systems at the same time, but at the same time, we're talking about correct data, which is the most important thing. The next part is about Rapidi data integration solutions. As I mentioned before, we don't want to overcomplicate the integration process. So we want to make it easy and straightforward. Sometimes when people think about integrations in general, they just think about all the possible issues that they might have. But in our case, it's not that. We want to make it easy, straightforward for all companies that really struggle with manual processes and a lot of manual work. Rapidi is an iPaaS platform, so we focus on simplicity. So when we say simplicity, we refer to design, installation, and use. We want to make sure that when you use it, you are able to understand how it works and how you can actually use it moving forward. It's a cloud integration system that comes with pre-configured templates. These templates actually allow you to quickly integrate various systems. When it comes to our templates, these templates have been built based on previous experiences, on feedback, and of course, based on all those requirements that all the systems have, right? Because you have your ERP, and within your ERP, there are certain requirements. And then you have your CRM, which can be different, and there are completely different requirements. So what we did, we've built these templates, which are a result of our best practices. And the last point, of course, we do have extensive expertise when it comes to integrating Microsoft Dynamics ERPs and Salesforce, but our work is not limited to this. We can definitely do more than that. We are flexible and open to any type of integration. That being said, here is a list with the Rapidi's most common endpoints. As I mentioned before, we do focus on Dynamics 365 and Salesforce integrations, but of course we can work on different other integrations and with different other systems. So as you can see in the list here, we have more. We do have HubSpot, we have SQL databases, we have Oracle, and a lot of other systems that are still being used today, and we can connect to them and make sure that the integration is up and running. When it comes to Dynamics 365 and Salesforce integrations, but not only, so this refers to any kind of integration that's being done via Rapidi, we have to mention that Rapidi is an iPaaS and there's no staging of your data. It's very easy to be configured. You don't need actually to be a developer or a technical consultant. You don't need to go through a learning curve to understand how to do it. It's easy enough to be done by anyone. And of course, we can connect multiple systems, companies, and we can actually integrate any type of data. You can have standard data, you can have custom apps, anything. It doesn't really matter what kind of data you have. We can definitely make sure that your data will be transferred to your CRM or to other system that you are using. And of course, our subscriptions are all inclusive in the sense that you get everything. So when I say everything, is everything, right? So you have the entire integration project, right? You go through all the stages, but we also provide support after go live. And we believe that post go live, that's the moment when things can be critical. So you need all the support you need from our side to understand how things are working, if there are any errors, issues, or anything that is related to your integration. So definitely everything, the subscriptions that we have offer you everything that you need in order to be successful and manage your own integration. Next, here we'll have the data flows between Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics 365 ERPs. What you can see here, this would be those pre-built templates that we have, and of course, they have been built in order to speed up the process and make sure that you get value out of the project very soon. So here we have accounts in Salesforce, customers in your ERP, and then everything that's below. So we have contacts that you have in Salesforce and can be transferred to your ERP. The same thing happens for products. For example, you can have the same products in your ERP and in Salesforce. Prices, opportunities in Salesforce would become sales orders in your ERP. Again, we have orders, payments, which are also really important, and invoices and credit notes that would be transferred to Salesforce under sales history. So what you see here on the list would be more or less the standard setup that you would get as a company. But of course, every company is different. So then you can have different objects or you can have different business processes. Even though you have a completely different setup, that does not prevent you from using the templates and adjusting them according to your needs. The templates are there. Every company can use them, and they're a good starting point for anyone. Some companies, they just use them as they are completely, because they meet their requirements 100%. Other companies, they use them as a starting point and then they add to them. You can add to those templates any custom data that you might have, or anything that is actually important for you. So the idea is that you are not limited to just use the templates and that's it. No, you can use them and then make sure that they're customized according to your business processes. And of course, like I said, even though you don't have a standard process, that's fine. Once we understand how your company works and how you want things to be done, those can be incorporated here into the integration project. Here we will have a standard code to cash example, right? So in Salesforce, you would have the lead, which is converted, right? And then you have account and contacts. You have account in Salesforce, which can be transferred automatically into a customer. So that would be the equivalent. And then you have the contact in Salesforce, which can be transferred to your ERP, and this would be also a contact. So if you are using Salesforce and you want to and that's the place where you create your accounts and everything, then all that data can be transferred over to your ERP. And this refers to any new accounts, for example, or any updates that have been made on that specific account. So everything can be passed over to your ERP. And then the next part would have the opportunity in Salesforce, which would actually be a sales order in your ERP. And then you can also send back the sales orders into Salesforce as open sales orders. As you can see, the process goes both ways, right? It's not just a process where everything has to go from your ERP to your CRM and that's the end of story. No, they can go both ways if this is something that you need within your company. So we can do that at any point. And of course, then here we have the payments, invoices, and credit notes, which again, they would go into Salesforce and you would have all that information in Salesforce as well. So this would be more or less standard, but of course, you might have different objects in Salesforce or you might have a completely different process, but that's really not an issue because as long as we know exactly what you want to send over to your ERP, we are good. So we are able to integrate everything without issues. And of course, we also on the side, we have the products, right, which can be synced. We have the price books from Salesforce, and of course, any other objects that you might have. There are companies where they are using their own custom objects in Salesforce, and they actually contain specific information that has to go that have to go to their ERP. So in any case, as long as you have your process defined and you know how data should be transferred and when, I think we should be good to go and we should be able to build the entire integration. Next point would be Rapidi's key functionalities. So here we have a few points. The first one would be data mapping and transformation, real-time synchronization. Then we have customization and scalability. Of course, automated workflows, security measures. Of course, they are very important. We all know that. And then monitoring and analytics. So I'll go through them one by one so then I can explain a bit more. Data mapping and transformation. So this means that we can map and transform data without any kind of effort. So this means that any data that is being mapped between Microsoft Dynamics ERPs and Salesforce will be done via the pre-built mapping templates. We do that because one, it saves time, and two, they are a result of best practices. So it means that those are the main requirements for both systems. So once you use this pre-built templates, then you are very close to starting testing and even going live. Without any templates, then all your work has to be done from scratch, right? So that sometimes it can be difficult because you're not very sure what you want to include, and it takes time to even decide what the plan is. And then the second point would be the support for custom data fields. Of course, we do offer the standard templates, but we do want to make sure that your custom data fields are also included if you need them. So there's no limitation to that. If you have custom fields in Salesforce that you really need to use, of course, then that's really something that can be included, because we are flexible and we want to make sure that we meet your needs. And of course, we offer an intuitive data mapping interface. So once you have the integration in place, you can also customize it if at some point you decide you want to change anything, basically. So it's a way for you to adjust it, customize it, and even extend your current integration. The next part would be about real-time synchronization. I think this is something that's really important for all companies, right? You want to ensure that the data is up to date in both systems. So you always want to see the updates, let's say on leads, opportunities, customer interactions. And I think this is something that we all want to see in our CRM. And without an integration in place, without automation, it's very hard, because then you will need to have users that will need to do that. One, you have the ERP, where you have specific users doing everything. And then two, you have your CRM, where again, you have users that have to do all of those things. So at this point, once you have the integration in place, the data is being updated constantly, and then you see the same thing in both systems. So you don't have to worry about specific opportunities not being updated or specific accounts not being in Salesforce, because the integration will do all those things for you. And then what this means is that you minimize data latency. So you don't have to wait to actually see the data in Salesforce or in your ERP. And then this actually improves decision-making in general, because you have your data instantly, and then you can use it, and then you can do your part and focus on your priorities. The next point would be customization and scalability. We can adapt to unique business processes and structures. Of course, we do have the mapping templates, but we want to adapt to what you need. And for that reason, we want to ensure scalability. So, and this actually refers to businesses of all sizes. It doesn't matter if you are a very small company or if you are a very large enterprise. We are able to adapt to your needs. And we also provide customization based on your industry-specific needs. Sometimes, of course, if you are in a specific industry, you do need a certain level of customization. You do need, let's say, special things being configured. That being said, we can adapt and make sure that you have that customization in place and that you benefit from it. And then, of course, the next point is about automated workflows. So once we have everything automated, we streamline your business processes, of course, and all these tasks, which are repetitive, of course, are being automated, and then we reduce the manual effort and minimize errors on your side. So when you have the integration in place, you don't have users doing so many things in the systems, and then you can minimize or even eliminate errors. And of course, you want to reduce the manual effort. You want to allow the systems to do everything, right? And then you just review the data or just look at what you have in the system. And then the last one would be the flexibility to customize the data flows. So during the integration process, you can decide on a specific way of configuring everything. But if later on you think that you need to change that, customize it, add something more, then you can do that, because then you can match your specific business requirements. So either you have a very standard setup or a very customized one. We can take care of both without any type of issues. And security measures, of course, we are committed 100% to data security and compliance. We do have encryption protocols, access controls, and a lot of other security features because we want to make sure that you feel confident about about the way we handle your data, and we want customers to feel safe when they use our platform. And then the last part would be monitoring and analytics. We do have a monitoring and analytics tool in order to track integration performance. So this means is that companies can get more insight into the data flows and identify any possible performance issues and any bottlenecks, and even optimize your processes via our statistics. So they give you a good insight of how everything is working, and then you can identify any possible issues, and it gives you an opportunity to improve those if necessary. Here, we will have a sneak peek into other Rapidi functionalities. I've chosen just a few because we don't really have a lot of time, but just to show you some interesting functionalities that we currently have. The first one is data flows actions. So when you want to transfer data from your ERP to your CRM, you have different actions that you want to perform, right? So you decide to create accounts in Salesforce, and that would be an add. You decide to update an existing account. You can use update, or you can use both at the same time, add and update. And then, of course, we also have the delete action, which means that the delete action will keep both systems in sync, and the data that you have in one system will also be in the other one. So why is the delete action important? Well, there are companies where the end users might delete some of the transactions, and this happens quite often. Sometimes the user can just delete sales orders, can just delete invoices, accounts, basically, any type of data that you have in your system. And if that's something that cannot be controlled internally, then we have the delete action, which actually will make sure that what has been deleted in one place will also be deleted from the other place, and make sure that everything is in sync in both systems. Of course, normally we should not delete transactions, right? But this happens. Sometimes it happens, and it's really hard to control that. So we do offer this option in case you are struggling with that. And then, for example, another action would be continue on error. This is something that is being used for large companies that have to deal with bad data. So, for example, if you're trying to transfer customers from your ERP into Salesforce, but your customer data is not really good, right? You do want to use this functionality. And what this does is that it will transfer all the good records, and it will skip the bad ones. So if you have 20 customers that you want to send, and 5 of them are really bad, they don't have the right data, those 5 will be skipped, but the remaining ones will be sent to Salesforce and will be created accordingly. It's an action that's being used by companies that are trying to clean up their systems, and they are trying to make sure that all the data that they have is correct. But cleaning up a system takes time. We all know that. So then in order to get there, but still wanting the integration, then you can use this action that will help you to get your data into Salesforce, or the other way around. But at least, and then work on the ones that are bad records, and take care of that, clean up the data, and yeah, that would be mainly it. Of course, if you have bad data, it's good to take care of it and make sure that you clean up everything, and what you have in your ERP is also in your CRM. Then the next one would be the link storages. So the link storages, you can look at it as more of a dynamic lookup table. So what they do, they can store your company data within Rapidi. And what you do here, you identify the specific data that has to be stored here. Usually we have the main, let's say, identifiers. For example, you have in your ERP you have your customers, and every customer has a number, and the number is unique, right? And then on the Salesforce side, you have the accounts. Every account has this unique ID. So here, what you do, you store those values, only the unique ones, right, for all those customers. And when the data flow is running, meaning at runtime, all the records are added here automatically. So it's not a table that you build manually. It just gets to be created and updated via the data flow or transfer that you have in place. So your customers will be transferred from your ERP to Salesforce, and every time that happens, then this table will also be updated. It's a really good functionality because a lot of customers can use it, can keep track of what they have in the systems, and then this link storage can be also used on other type of data flows. So we do have a lot of other purposes for it, but just to start with it and to understand a bit how it works, this is something that can be used by all companies on any kind of transfer. And then another one would be tags. So tags, these are parameters or variables that can be set up, and they can be set up at the connection or data flow level. There are many purposes for it, but I think the most common one is that you can use tags. For example, when you have multiple companies in your ERP, let's say you have 5 companies in your ERP and you want to transfer data from those 5 companies to Salesforce. What tags would do is that you define a specific tag, a value for that for each company, and you will have a master transfer or data flow. So you'll have just one transfer data flow that will run for all 5 companies. You will not need to have 5 different transfers or data flow for each one of those companies. You just use one, which would be the master, and then everything else will run within that. So I think this is a good way to actually group all the companies that you have in your ERP and have them on the same transfer. The system will know how to run the transfer based on the information that's available for every single company from your ERP. This is very interesting because it reduces the effort around setting up the transfer and everything that you need to do integration-wise. And of course, Rapidi in a nutshell. So as I mentioned before, we do offer Microsoft ERP, Salesforce integration, but we are not limited to that. We also work on integrations between the Microsoft Dynamics products. For example, integrations between Business Central and Microsoft Sales and any other products that are within the Microsoft ecosystem. It's a cost-effective, scalable business model. And of course, data integration via Rapidi is possible for both cloud and on-premise systems. Sometimes we get questions about on older on-premise systems and whether we can support that. And the answer is yes, because we have worked on a lot of projects that are related to older on-premise systems. And of course, cloud systems nowadays, most of them are cloud. We can definitely work with them as well. We do have the development tools, robust, and they are available. Pre-built mapping templates can be used by anyone at any time. And what's really important, that everything that we do and what we offer is approachable for non-IT users. You don't really need to be a developer or try to understand very technical things. And you can manage it without additional or any IT resources post-go live. So I think it becomes easier when you don't have to get new resources for that project or even post-go live. And I think that was it from my side. Sirin?
Thank you very much, Andrea. And now I would like to explain a little bit why Rapidi is considered as an all-inclusive investment model. So Rapidi offers a comprehensive solution for seamless integration. So first of all, our integration platform offers configuration tools, an advanced data toolbox, logs, notifications, and of course, robust monitoring, and which is the core of the service, and it's anchored by the efficient Rapidi connector. Then Rapidi also provides integration templates, ready-made, pre-configured business processes based on best practices, fully customizable to suit every unique need, and they come together with detailed documentation. So to ensure ongoing success, Rapidi offers dedicated support, assisting in maintaining integration, adding fields to existing transfers, and providing integration advisory and swiftly resolving any data errors that might emerge. So to conclude, Rapidi presents a comprehensive solution, seamlessly combining integration and robust support services, with a commitment to being alongside our customers every step of the way. Rapidi ensures a diligent approach to meeting integration needs. So, from discovery to ongoing support, our solution is designed to enhance efficiency, fostering collaborative partnership with our valued clients. So, I would say that with Rapidi, it's a partnership that goes beyond integration. We are talking about a commitment to elevating our operation for sustained success. And the next point is our customer's testimonial. So we're really proud to announce that Rapidi has achieved an exceptional 5-star average on both Salesforce App Exchange that relates to the full experience and also for support ratings over the last years. So this is the proof of our commitment to providing you with a positive experience through the journey with us. So we had the privilege of serving satisfied customers worldwide across various industries, and their happiness with the customer experience we offer is something we take immense pride in. And today, we'd like to spotlight one of these success stories, the VeriQuest case story. So VeriQuest is specializing in school printers and related equipments. It's part of Veritronics LLC, and they operate under the name of VeriQuest Visual Learning Tools as a significant wholesaler in the United States. So, like many businesses, VeriQuest faced challenges that required innovative solutions. They needed to integrate their Salesforce CRM and Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central ERP. So, as those two systems did not talk to each other at that time, forcing manual data entry in two places and lots of importing and exporting of data, which not only was a waste of time, but also created many opportunities for errors. And this is where Rapidi could help VeriQuest to mind this gap. So when they chose Rapidi, they discovered a seamless experience that exceeded their expectations. So with Rapidi, VeriQuest experienced improved efficiency, they increased productivity, and a noticeable positive impact on their overall operation. The ease of use and continuous support from Rapidi made a significant difference. And the VeriQuest case story is just one example of the many success stories that we have with our customers. At Rapidi, we believe in fostering lasting partnerships and delivering unparalleled value to all our clients because we believe that our customer success is our success. And the next point would be how you can get started with us. So whether you're looking to leverage our solution as a customer or explore collaboration as a partner, we're here to guide you through the process. So it's really simple. You only need to reach out to us with your project details. So to get started, what you need to do is to fill in the contact form in our website. You need to let us know about the specifics of your projects and or partnership interest. And of course, we will review your requirements and promptly get back to you with all the necessary details. So when we receive your inquiry, we schedule an introduction call to discuss the needs further and, of course, adapt our offerings to meet your unique requirements. And the next topic will be how we work through the implementation process. So we call it the 5-phase approach. That would start with the discovery. So the discovery means the project scope validation and kickoff discussion. Then we would move to the onboarding, which is onboarding you onto the Rapidi platform and our online collaboration platform, which is Basecamp. Then we'd go to configuration, which is basically the integration configuration on the Rapidi platform and the end user testing to ensure everything aligns with your expectations. We will then move to deploy to production, which is the initial data synchronization, upload of historical data, and the actual cutover to the production environment. And the last step would be transition to support. So this is the post-go live support and the project closer and transition to the operational support phase. So we really believe that this comprehensive approach ensures a smooth and successful integration, and whether your customer or partner, reaching out to us would be the first step. And now, as we cover today's agenda, it's time for your questions. So I'll be starting with the question that we have in the chat. And if you have any other question, please take the time to submit your queries in the chat. We also prepared some relevant questions to whom I will be going through just after. Okay, Andrea, so I'm going to check what we have here in the chat. So the first question would be, does all-inclusive mean that we can integrate any endpoint for the same price once we are a Rapidi customer? For example, Salesforce to GP and SQL to Salesforce?
Good question. I think that when it comes to the endpoints that you can integrate, you would need to review the subscriptions that we have. And I think in our case, we are subscription based and there are specific levels which allow you to use a specific number of endpoints. I think that's something that we can also send after the session. But every subscription will include a specific number of endpoints and other functionalities or features. And then based on your company's needs, you can choose the one that's the best for you.
Thank you. Okay, I will move to the next question. So they are asking, are workflows across systems, and do they include things like field updates or email alerts? For example, can we send an email alert to the Salesforce account owner when a credit is approved for the customer?
So here there are two different things. So the first part, the field updates, yes, that's something that you can do. You can update any field, either in CRM or in ERP at any point in time. And then the second part of the question, that's something that would be done directly in Salesforce as a workflow. So you will do that in Salesforce and then have this automation in place, because it's definitely the best approach to make sure that if you want to send notifications, if you want to alert any people about any type of transactions, then that would be done in Salesforce.
Okay, as I don't see more questions in the chat, so we will go through our question, and if you have any more questions, please, you can write them down. So how to set up your data integration project in 3 steps?
So here, first of all, you need to define your scope. So what will be the scope of your integration? And that's something that will need to be clearly defined and confirmed. Then once you do that, you have to decide how you want to transfer that data, from your ERP to your CRM. What would be the process behind it? And of course, what you want to do. Do you want to create accounts, let's say Salesforce invoices, or you want to update them? So the actions and everything around your process. And then of course, you would need to make sure that we can connect to your systems, right? That's something that we usually do, but we also involve the customer in the process so they can see how it's being done. So being able to connect, and of course, testing. The last part, where the customer, together with us, usually We do test everything. We go through use cases or any particular situation just to make sure that it works. The idea is that for testing purposes, you as a customer, you need to think about any possible scenarios that you want, and then review the data in both systems and make sure that they actually reflect the values that you are looking for.
Thank you. Next question would be how to ensure the best data mapping.
So here you need to know your systems very well, but not in the sense that you need to be a developer and then know the code and everything. It's just to have a good overview of what you have in your systems. For example, if you say, I want to transfer customers from my ERP to CRM, okay, your customers, the records when you create them, what do you usually put there? The values, how you do it, and all the information that you want to send over to Salesforce.
Mhm.
And you need to know also, are there any restrictions in any of the systems? For example, in Salesforce, you do have that option. You can have pick lists. You can have a lot of configurations that you can set up on the object itself. So understanding how things are being set up in both systems and making sure that there is no conflict between them, I think that's the best way to even start working on data mapping.
Awesome, Andrea. Thank you. Our next question, why it's best to be prepared when handling errors?
Yeah. So I think it's always good to prepare because sometimes people they just get a bit intimidated by errors in general, and not being familiar with the error message, then it gives this bad feeling, like you don't know what to do with it. So from our point of view, I think the preparation starts early in the process when you are working on the integration project, and also during testing. So when you are testing as a customer, you will get all these errors because you are testing and you want to see how the systems behave. And while you do that, you are testing, you are going through use cases, you will get to see a lot of error messages, all kind of issues, and then you will be able to learn from them and then be able to understand, oh, okay, this is a data error, so I need to fix it in my system, and then be able to send it again. So all those things, all that, preparation would be the word. It starts early. You actually continue that throughout the project. And then by the time you go live, you will be confident that you can handle those, because you will probably have, I think, 80%, of the companies that we work with have data errors, right? Because in your ERP, you might have users that they just added bad data, right? So they were not aware of that. So they did that. And then when you're trying to send over all that information to your CRM, you get all those errors because the data is invalid, right? So it's just a matter of getting used to them and handling. And then errors during testing will educate you, meaning that it will show you that certain things are not done right in your ERP. So then you can always go back and improve the way you are doing things right now. For example, if an user can do anything in your ERP, then it might be a good time to restrict certain actions, or make sure that you limit the options on a specific field, set it up as a drop-down list, or anything, anything that would actually allow the users to just use specific information, not just put everything in the system. So yes, I think we do focus on handling errors during the project, and by the time customers are live, most of them are just comfortable with handling those and fixing everything and troubleshooting.
It was really helpful. We have another question in the chat. So they're asking, how does the product you're showing compare to what is available on the App Exchange?
Oh, okay. I think that would require a completely separate meeting or session. I think it very much depends on what you're looking for. So from my personal experience, I've worked with other iPaaS platforms, and others can have, good qualities, but also bad ones. So now the thing is that you really have to think about the integration that you want to build, right? In our case, for example, we have the standard templates, which are used by the majority of our clients because it saves time, it's easier, right? Also, all customers get full support throughout the project. If you were to look at other iPaaS companies, you will see that you get, let's say, a specific resource for the implementation project, but then that's not something that's being extended after the project has been completed. From what I've worked and seen, you do have to actually have resources assigned on your account, and pay, of course, additionally for that. The support part after post go live, it's not really included. And I think I'm referring to huge iPaaS companies that offer the same services. And when you don't have support and you have to pay for it separately, it can be a bit complicated, and it can be a burden financially. And then if we're talking about finances, right? We do have our subscriptions. We have quite a few that are a good fit for all the companies. For example, if you're a small company and you don't want something, you don't want all the functionalities that a platform can offer, then you choose a specific subscription and you stick to that. If you are a huge company, an enterprise, then you use something else. You use, let's say, a different subscription. You'll pay more, obviously, but you get more out of it. And of course, I think the entire integration process, it's more like a hand-holding process, because what we do work on the implementation, we do all the work, but we also involve our customers so that once they go live, they are confident that this will work for them and they will be able to maintain it and support it moving forward. So there are a lot of things that you need to take into account when you are going to choose an iPaaS platform. But of course, like I mentioned, those are the main reasons, and I think you have to think, one, which are the systems that you want to integrate, and whether the company that you reach out to is able to provide you with that, and two, do you get any kind of support during the project, at the end of the project, and then after the project, because these are questions that you will need to ask, and make sure that financially you are okay with that and you can you can support all those costs. And of course, just like a side note, if you were to go to other iPaaS companies and ask for a quote and want to work on an integration, you also need to keep in mind the level of customization that they can offer you. That's something really important. There are a lot of cases when you are given a standard integration and that would be it. If you want to add to it, if you want to customize it, the options become limited. So all these questions have to be asked first, because we do take all this into account when we talk to our customers. And that's why I said initially, we are not limited to standard integrations. We can offer support to custom fields, and we can expand the current integration, and we can do so much more within the same subscription. So we don't have limitations in that sense. I think, well, hopefully this answers your question, but like I said, we would require a separate session on this topic to discuss. But I mean, if you have any questions about any possible integration project and you think that you want to discuss with us, we can do, and then I can give you all the details that you need.
Yeah, we'd be happy to have that separate session. So another question for you: which system does Rapidi support?
Yeah, so here, initially we had this slide where we showed all those systems that we support. And of course, like I said, we do have a lot of projects implemented for Dynamics 365 and Salesforce. But our work is not limited to that, in the sense that the platform can do so much more. And like I mentioned, we have HubSpot, we have SQL databases, we have Oracle, and also we can connect to, let's say, new systems and even very old ones that are on premise. So the possibilities are pretty much endless. We just We just need to know what your requirements are and what you want to do. If you have a very specific system and you say, oh, I want to integrate this system that lies on the Oracle database, then we can look at that and all the documentation around it. And I think we can definitely do it. But we need to know what's in scope for you and what you need to achieve.
Great. We have some more questions. So is your data stored in the US?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
One more question. They're asking if our data are stored in the US.
Oh, okay. So we don't store data. So it's not, I mean, when it comes to the data that you transfer from one system to another, it just gets transferred. We don't actually keep that somewhere for a specific time. I mean, I understand. I mean, this question is very relevant because, for example, if you were to talk about a SaaS platform, usually they keep your data for 10 years. This is what they do. But it's not the case. So we just transfer it. We don't keep it for a specific time. It just, yeah. And then if we are GDPR compliant, of course, can we sync revenue recognition data from Great Plains to Salesforce? Well, I mean, we had quite a few projects for Great Plains and Salesforce. So then just by looking at your question, I can say yes. But again, just a note there. I think we need to know exactly the version you're running on and other details. But just by having this conversation, yes.
Okay. No more questions. So as we wrap up today's webinar, I want to express gratitude for joining us on behalf of all of the Rapidi team. We hope you leave with valuable insights into maximizing business synergy through the integration of Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics 365. We invite you to visit our website. You will find detailed solution overviews, compelling case stories, informative fact sheets, and of course, comprehensive documentation. It will help you to learn more about what we offer. Also, feel free to connect with us and follow us on our social media channels. So shortly after this webinar, you'll receive an email from us. In that email, you'll find the presentation that you just witnessed and the very request case story that we recently shared. And of course, as we value your opinion, we've included the link to a quick survey in the email. We have also posted the link here to the survey here in the webinar chat. So you should be able to click the link that takes you to the survey. So please take a moment to share your feedback with us. Your insights are crucial in shaping our future webinars. If you have any question or need further clarification, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can contact us directly and we'll be more than happy to assist you. And that's it. Once again, thank you for being with us today. We look forward to you visit our website and hearing your thoughts and feedback. We wish you a great day, afternoon, or evening.